doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Steps would a President Ro Khanna take to hold Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet accountable for the genocide in Gaza?
Well, I've said that he should be tried under the ICC and the ICJ, and I have supported that process to take place.
But the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC. So what role would the U.S. play then?
Well, the U.S. would support it, support the ICC's investigation, support the ICJ's findings. Just like I support Putin being tried at the ICC, I would support Netanyahu being tried at the ICC, and I would
But you wouldn't initiate it.
Well, it's already been initiated. I'm happy to initiate it again, but it would be redundant. I mean, it's not that I'm not supportive of it.
Would you recognize?
Administration do, that they said it was a 5 session, and we know what has happened here. But I think as people feel the turn, which they should be now, then there is light at the end of the tunnel. Things are getting better. We're seeing construction jobs picking up. We're seeing manufacturing jobs picking up. The unemployment rate dropped. We are seeing the big component of the workforce, the mid-20s to mid-50s, is very stable. And Rob, the other important thing too is these jobs are going to Americans. Like, we have seen over 2 million jobs created for Americans, and we've seen over 1 million illegals leave the workforce. And guess what? The laws of supply and demand still work. When you take the illegals out of the workforce, working class wages go up. When you send them back home, rents go down.
See more cooperation from Cuba, whether they want to or not. Ultimately, they've been threatening the United States for a very long time, allowing foreign nations, malign actors to spy on America from there. Are they acquiring weapons that could reach the United States of America? That's concerning. So the ACCC is free countries willing to collaborate together to take on cartels. It's growing. It's got real momentum. You're going to see some things in the coming weeks that are really important. But countries like Cuba are on notice. We're not going to tolerate that kind of malign influence in our hemisphere. Call it the Monroe Doctrine or the Trump corollary of the Monroe Doctrine. It's a real thing, and our job is to deliver the War Department's component.
What are your thoughts on the criticism of him, especially because in a lot of these cases, it's not anything he said, it's an idea of who he is.
Ridiculous. He's the mayor. Stop being sore losers. You knew this is Zoran Mandami. He was never a fake, phony, fraudulent fugazi like a lot of politicians. He told you who he was. Once he got elected, you should have known he was going to be there at 9/11. Now, if you choose to turn your back on him, I don't want to ever tell family members what they should be doing on this holiday. That's not holiday, but this solemn occasion. That's your choice. But I believe you respect the office. He's the mayor. He's representing the city. Unlike what my former friend, Sid Rosenberg, did with Cuomo, that I think stopped him dead in his tracks. I think it was 10 days before the election when they were joking around about what would happen if Mandami were the mayor on the occasion of 9/11. Do you think that there'd be another 9/11? And Cuomo ended up laughing along with that shock jock. I think when you did internal polls, as we did, that really hurt him because he was gaining momentum. Remember, don't vote for Sliwa, a vote for Sliwa, a vote for Mandami. He was gaining traction, and then he made that stupid remark and then didn't handle it well, and then Zorhan exploited the hell out of it, as he should. That was Islamophobic. He's the mayor. Get used to it.
המלחמה המתמשכת יצרה מציאות ביטחונית חדשה. יש לנו יותר שטח להגן עליו, ובהנחה שהמחנה הלאומי ימשיך להוביל את מדינת ישראל, אנחנו נשאר ברצועת הביטחון בעזה, ברצועת הביטחון בלבנון, ברצועת הביטחון בסוריה. אין לנו שום כוונה לסגת משם, כפי שלצערי אומרים בשמאל. והמציאות הזאת תישאר. יש לנו יותר שטח להגן עליו, יותר משימות שצה"ל נדרש לבצע. Walk away.
Well, that's a potential criticism of Trump that I don't disagree with. But the regime's been in power for 47 years. It's not going to go easily. And that's why coordination with the opposition in Iran is so important, because they're the ones working to pry apart the regime at the top, to fragment the leadership, to convince people in the regular army, not the Revolutionary Guard Corps, but the regular army, to come over to the side of the opposition and hopefully minimize the violence. Ultimately, it will depend on how much the opposition really wants to be living in a free country. We're not going to deliver it to them on a silver platter, and they're not going to get it without bloodshed.
There's no Nelson Mandela here. There's no figure that leads this opposition. It's an amorphous...
Trump visited Moon Jae-in, the president of South Korea, in Seoul. That's when he later went up to the DMZ to meet with Kim Jong-un. And so we were having the formal bilateral meeting between Trump and Moon. I was there, Pompeo was there, a few other advisors, and in came Jared and Ivanka to sit in the meeting. I had never seen anything like it. Nobody said anything. What were we going to say? Tell them to get out? Have the president then overrule you?
So you just had to accept it.
Well, or you could resign at some point. I mean, I didn't resign over Jared Kushner, but eventually that's what happens.
Right.
Just noticed the audio was off. We're going to have a frank discussion today. I'm going to connect some dots for you, and we're going to talk about a few things and help you understand what's happening in this world. I want to say hello to the crew in the chat. You're cleared hot. Please check out whatfinger.com. It's a great aggregator site. You saw a lot of things in the cold open. One, Israel Huckabee had to come out against the settlers in the West Bank, saying they're terrorists. We want to agree with that. I mean, they're going after Christian, Christians that live in that area. It's, you're talking Bethlehem, and all other historic Christian sites that need to be protected. And we want to, and we're glad that the ambassador finally talked about that. Settler violence is a thing, and it needs to stop, especially against Christian forces in that, or Christian people in that area. Sunday, we're going to have a big broadcast, 2 p.m. on the Georgia show. And then 3 p.m., we're having a special broadcast on AWEB, which is the global election. Well, I don't even know what to call it. It's James Bond level global election manipulation is what it is. And we're going to have a big discussion on that Sunday at 3 o'clock. So you're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be after the Georgia show. But on the 2 o'clock Georgia show, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff that's been going on in Georgia to us, against us, and against free elections in that state. So we're going to discuss all of that. Conservative Inc. is going to be big in that process, and the CCP's involvement across a lot of different sectors of conservative media. And what you see is essentially a lot of anger and frustration is built up on TV, and then nothing happens, like in Congress, and then we go on to the next rage generator. And it's kind of an ongoing grift that's been going on in social media. See, somebody is watching from Canada this morning. The Five Eyes are part of this whole thing that's been corrupted, and these governments are working against free peoples. We are going to push freedom and complete media freedom and accountability for the crimes that have been pushed against humanity. So I want to talk about a lot of things today. We're going to walk through Iran. We're going to walk through Ukraine. We're going to walk through the unrestricted warfare by the CCP. And we're going to talk a little bit specifically about Lebanon a little later in the show and what's going on there as well, because that is part of this entire matrix that's happening that you need to be aware of. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm going to make you a lot smarter. So we'll be right back.
First time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
I'm watching my friends gain more and more weight, and then eventually I got to tell you, this is a little dark, but bad diet literally killed my whole crew.
Wow.
Diabetes, a stroke. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's like, you had a stroke? You're not even 50 years old. You guys got to quit eating this stuff. Your body knows what's what. You're not conscious of this. But that's why people will go to the refrigerator and they'll grab this and that and the other and put together this outrageously elaborate combination of foods. Your body's trying to reach balance. Unbeknownst to us, our bodies are always trying to reach homeostasis. You can't eat all of this stuff and expect to live a long time. And one thing led to another, and I went, forget this. We're going to make our own product. So we partnered with one of the world's top 3 biochemists where nutrition-specific study is concerned. I said, all I want is the best nutritional and immune support product in the world. So we mixed it in yogurt. It's a powder. I got a bag of it here. I keep one on the console all the time, just so I can show people.
Yeah.
And it's a powder. Now, this is not candy. This is hardcore nutrition. And sugar is an enemy. And most people do not know that the reason these bellies are showing up on people all over the place, your body makes fat to store the toxins it can't get rid of. So it just puts them over here. But I can tell you this, you take this for 30 days and then lay off of it for 2 or 3 days, and you'll go, good grief, give me some more. Skin, nails, hair growing back. Cut yourself and it heals in half the time.
Put silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll be a man. He'll test one day. Have him win the Green Beret.
All right, welcome back to problem here. If that keeps going on, we'll switch mics. So we're going to talk a little bit foreign, and then we're going to get into some of the stuff that's happening inside the United States in specifically conservative Inc. But I just want to connect some dots in Ukraine. So you have in Europe. Europe, the EU was started to really build a power center and to enable a lot of these communists and Marxists and Nazis that had gotten pushed out of power back in by centralizing power over Europe and centralizing the money supply, the central bank, the full, banker matrix that has been installed here as well. So that's what they put into Europe. And then the end goal of a lot of this was resources and power and money. And when you look at Russia, it is a big juicy strawberry over there that they want to get as far as resources and land and farmland and just all kind of stuff that they want and they need to continue their power hungry grabs in Europe. So luckily, the Trump administration, I think, has realized a lot of this and is backing away from Europe big time. We want to encourage that to continue. But the Ukraine war specifically is a war. It's a proxy war by Europe against the Russian Federation to take Russian assets and to ethnically cleanse certain areas that they don't want, meaning Christian Slavic populations in mid-Asia, Central Asia, and they want to remove the people and create something else there, whatever they have in their long-term agenda. But this is being run primarily out of England. It's the Admiralty, the monarchy, the whole matrix out of England, MI6. And what we don't want is, they're pushing for a World War III. That's their goal. They need a war to continue in power. They're ramping up the drafts in Europe. There's going to be a war between Russia and Europe. You need to accept that right now, because Europe is not going to stop until that happens. And so eventually Russia is going to have to strike areas that are funding Ukraine's army to attack Europe or to attack Russia. So that could generate some kind of Article 5 where, because we're part of NATO, if they're attacked, we have to support them. So that's what they're banking on. We start this war in Ukraine. We ethnically cleanse all the people. Then once the people are gone, we bring in the robots and bring in the Nigerians and make it a mercenary army and continue the war. And eventually we'll get into World War III and we can destroy everything, including the Russian Federation, and then go take it. So that's what they're trying to do. It's satanic. It's evil. But these elites are satanic and evil. So now you have a situation where Russia obviously pushed back and invaded against this ethnically cleansing operation in Donbass against the Russian-speaking population and the literal Nazis in Ukraine. I've seen them. So I've sat with them. I've talked with them. They exist, and we've been funding them for years. And there was 14,000 people killed in Donbass prior to this invasion by Russia in 2022. I'm not backing Putin. I'm just giving you the facts here. I'm not pro-Russian or pro-Ukraine. I'm pro-truth. I want this war to end. I want a peace treaty signed yesterday, and I want the killing of Christian men in Central Asia to stop. And so now you have a situation where Russia is advancing further and further in Donbass. It looks like they're moving on multiple towns, possibly Odessa, Zaporizhia area in the south, and obviously in the north we've talked about with Pete Blaber and our friend Alex from Kiev. So that is what's going on. Russia is advancing. The Ukrainians are launching long-range strikes, which are damaging to the Russian economy for sure. but they are not stopping the mobilization. And speaking of mobilization, Zelensky screaming over this week about mobilization, Russia, 500,000 troops or 1 million, because he can't match that. He knows that. So he's trying to, what does he expect? We said this on the show the other day, that is going to happen. Also, Trump is not replacing their interceptors. They're essentially defenseless against Russian ballistic missiles at this point. And Zelensky is screaming for more missiles. But the front is moving. They're essentially defenseless against a lot of especially the ballistic missile threat, because they need Patriots for that, and we don't have them. We don't have to give them. So all of this is just fascinating. And you have also Zelensky now offering multiple deals to Putin to stop attacks in the Black Sea, because his grain exports and his weapons imports are being impacted because Russia's shut off those ports. And now Russia's threatening to attack European Shadow Fleet tankers if they continue to do what they're doing to Russian vessels globally, moving oil around for them. Again, I'm not pro-Putin. I've said many times over the years, I'm pro-humanity and anti-war, and I want this war to stop. And we need to see the reality of what's going on here. So you have Russia advancing, you have Zelensky collapsing, and Europe wants to fight to the last Ukrainian and start a major war with Russia. So that is what's happening. Your sons and daughters are going to be drafted into a global possible nuclear conflict on the continent, the third one. We need to stop this, and we're going to be heavily invested in trying to stop this, as we have been over the last decade here at CDM, and trying to provide good information so that you understand what's happening, but also to work behind the scenes and try to bring sides together. So that's what we've been doing. If you move to Iran, another fascinating situation. We've had Susan Kokinda on here from Promethean Action, and she's described how the banker complex out of London has kept the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea and other choke points, Panama Canal, in their control, and trying to move it more to a Marxist control. And you know what? I read something last night. I didn't realize that what brought Germany down in World War I was a Marxist revolution in Munich. I had no idea. Our education system is so screwed up. We don't know. You have to get out and read, and you have to read old books. I agree with Michael Yan on that. You have to read old books and old history books, and you have to educate your kids, because what happened at the end of the First World War was a Marxist revolution, which forced Germany to lose. And then you moved into the Weimar Republic, which was the transgender, the gay stuff, and all of that. And then that gave a rise to Hitler, and then we had World War II. So this has all happened before. And by the way, after they did the Marxist Revolution in Munich, guess where they went next? Russia. So they have been trying to destroy that Christian center ethnicity of Europe and Asia for some time, and we are in the end stages of that, and that's why they have decided they just want a nuclear war to blow it all up. So now you have Iran, and I'm going to call the media, the legacy media, out here for being treasonous, because they are committing treason by spreading all these rumors right when the blockade is really working against the Iranian regime. And by the way, we've got a lot of stuff up on CDM right now about all of this. But if you can go to CDM and read about it. But the Iranian regime is hurting right now economically, and I think Trump has picked the right path. And you've seen some of these generals come in and want to kick the kinetic war back up again. But in my view, and in our view here at CDM editorially, we want Trump to just continue the squeeze. We don't want troops on the ground. We don't want more airstrikes. We want to just blockade their economics, and we can wait them out. We contained the Soviet Union for 80 years. We can wait them out. And so that also by supporting, not with arms or money, but with bully pulpit, moral, political support, open, advocating the resistance on the ground to take down the government. And by the way, if you want to learn more about that, go to my book, Paying the Price, The Untold Story of the Iranian Resistance. You can order them everywhere, anywhere books are sold online. Your bookstore can order it for you if you want it through that channel. But if you want to get something for somebody who really loves international affairs, you'll learn a lot from that book. So you have all of this going on, and in the moment the blockade starts working, and the Trump, I mean, you've seen the media there, the Wall Street Journal, all of them, all the Mockingbird media are after this government, the Trump government, to try to prevent what they're doing. And in our view, we said from the beginning we weren't for an Iraq war, but now that we're in it, we want a good outcome for the United States. I said Iran war. We want a good outcome for the United States, and that's what we're going to continue to push for. So the media now is committing treason because the blockade's working. So you've got all these stories out coordinated right now about the suicides on the ships and how the crews are just tired and have to go home. That a lot of that may be true, but they're overhyping it and making a much bigger deal to hurt the Trump administration's efforts, because the efforts in the Gulf are working against Iran. And we have shut down their exports, shut down their oil, their revenue imports, and that's the way forward. So to get a good outcome out of this war, as I said, I wasn't for this war, but now that we're in it, I want a good outcome for our kids and for our country. All right, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back, and I want to talk a little bit more about unrestricted warfare that's been pumped against us by the Chinese and others, but a lot going on. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the SCIF.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold, often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience, and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
The pandemic, we can never be caught unprepared again. And so many Americans, when COVID hit, they had nothing in the house. Stores were shut down, and doctors' offices were shut down. And even if doctors prescribed drugs, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, pharmacists wouldn't fill the prescriptions. That was a nightmare.
Now the situation is much worse. We have these horrible supply chain problems. In our emergency medical kit at the Wellness Company, we have 8 prescription drugs that are all potentially life-saving.
Most people who died with COVID, they died in the hospital because they didn't receive early treatment.
Every American family should have one of these.
I can tell you the Wellness Company kit is the answer.
With my 35 years of experience, our team at U.S. Asset Management can deliver professional investment management, financial planning to help you target your goals, and even specialized divorce financial analysis if you need it. We are here to help you make better decisions with your money. Call U.S. Asset Management today, and let's get to work in your financial future.
Okay, thanks for joining us back on the SCIF. Today is a discussion day, and I want to talk more about the unrestricted warfare that's going on against the United States. So you have multiple vectors here, and this is being run by think of gangs of New York. You have multiple gangs which are attacking our country in multiple ways, and by the United States government, and used against us in various ways. So and our government has been infiltrated, obviously. So we are working against What we have to do is restore sovereignty to the people, and that's what we have to continue to work for. And free media is very key to that. And by the way, while we're on the point, we need your help at CDM. Please go to our no ad descriptions at my.cdm.press, my.cdm.press, and sign up if you haven't done it before. It's $10 a month. You get access to all of our content. And we're putting out a lot all over the world. It's just on fire. I had someone email me yesterday and tell me, you guys are on fire. The only place I go to find out actually really what's going on in the world is the CDM. And we love that. We love that reaction, and that's what we're shooting for. So my.cdm.press is $10 a month or $100 a year. Pay the $100, forget about it. You can jump from site to site and not see any ads. So please support us that way. We really need your help if you haven't done that yet. All right. The unrestricted war obviously is also the economy by using our central bank to print money, to continue the forever wars, to destroy the U.S. Manufacturing economy. The education system has been destroyed. The military, they're still on that. And we're fighting internally with sources right now at the Pentagon to try to remove and continue to remove people inside the Pentagon who are working to destroy the U.S. offensive military capability and the capability to defend the Republic by creating an officer class that is just garbage. We're working against that. Literally, was working on a story with sources last night inside the Pentagon, as we are part of the Pentagon press corps. So we'll continue on that effort. But there's so many things here that they are doing. But the big one is the elections. And as I said, Sunday at 3 p.m., we have the Georgia show at 2 p.m. You're not going to want to miss that, because we're going to talk about what's been going on in Georgia. And we're going to talk about the Conservative Inc. issues in Georgia and why Georgia is still so screwed up, because there's an established sneaky effort to stop Georgia from being fixed. I'm from Georgia. I started the Georgia show on purpose, and we're being copied, blocked, mocked, all of it in Georgia, and we're tired of it. So we're going to go on the offensive Sunday at 2 p.m. And then 3 p.m., you're going to have a very big special on AWeB, which we broke, and we're going to continue to push, and we're going to call out the other people in Georgia who are not really doing what they should be on the media and for election integrity, but grifting off everybody for money and to take the spotlight off of us, the people who are doing their real work. So let's talk about Conservative Inc. I want to show you something. Let me bring this up 1 second. I've talked about John Solomon before. We showed videos of him saying the machines haven't shown any bad votes. We've shown him before bobbleheading to Raffensperger on Real America's Voice. Yes, you're doing a great job on the elections, blah, blah, blah. Well, yesterday, Georgia Secretary of State Raffensperger impanels Election Integrity Task Force. So this is a puff piece for Raffensperger on Just the News. And this is Just the News, Real America's Voice, where Steve Bannon's located, all of these people, and these guys are not for real election integrity. That's my opinion. Okay, that's my opinion, because you've got this article up on Just the News. It doesn't say that Raffensperger is it doesn't say that it doesn't talk about his nefarious actions. It doesn't talk about Raffensperger putting the voting system in the cloud for the Georgia voting system with Salesforce with a no bid contract, which was illegal per the regulations and laws in Georgia. It doesn't talk about all of the stuff that he's done to fight real election integrity. It's just a puff piece. So we're going to talk more about Conservative Inc. on Sunday at 2. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention so that you see this is still going on. There is unrestricted warfare against the United States. A lot of it is internal, and you need to stay with people who are going to tell you the truth. And that's what we do at CDM. We tell the truth, okay? When we're credible, we've been credible. We showed you stories on Privat Bank yesterday that we broke in 2019 that just came out yesterday out of DOJ. We have sources all throughout the region, all throughout the Middle East. We're getting the best information, and we're putting it out in a massive way 24/7. And please put us in your daily scan, cdm.press. Check out all the vertical sites that feed into it. But also, sign up for our socials. Every site has its own social. If you're just interested in Florida, you can see that there. But it is important to be with people who are actually going to tell you the truth, and that's us. So, all right, that's enough of the discussion. If you have any questions, let me know. Just put them in the chat, and I'll try to answer them. But we are, hold on, I'm just looking through some of the chats here. So yes, 3 p.m. on Sunday will be our big AWeb broadcast. 2 p.m. on Sunday will be our What's Going On in Georgia broadcast. Kind of come to Jesus meeting, I think, on Sunday at 2 p.m. in Georgia. So maybe we'll call the show that the Georgia show, come to Jesus meeting in Georgia. So I think that's what we'll call it. All right. Speaking of Jesus, we're big on the Christian community globally, and the way to fight back all of this, we've talked about being in your community, rebuilding your families, rebuilding connection within your family. Stay in touch with your kids. Be the perfect grandfather. Be the perfect uncle. I'm about to have a sit down with my kids as they start having kids and say, if your sister has a child, you better be the best uncle out there, and you better be involved in that family. And I think we need to pass that down and pass that on. And as I heard on Tucker, and I don't agree with Tucker with everything because he's ignoring the Islamic invasion we're having in the country, and he's not telling the truth on certain things, which I've called out. But I do agree that we need to live historically. He said that the other day. So that is something we need to start in our families. And once you've got your family on track, then it needs to go to your church. And then you need to be involved in the community. And then you need to be connected to the Christian community globally and be part of the new movement that's awakening. On that exact issue, I sat down with Naji Hayek of the Free Patriotic Movement in Lebanon. Naji Hayek is part of the Free Patriotic Movement. He fought in the Civil War in Lebanon for the Christian communities, and he is a friend of the show. And I recorded this a while back, but hold on, I have a little issue here. I recorded this a while back, but I think I want to re-release it because it's really important as to what's happening with connecting the Christian community globally. So this is Naji Hayek from the Free Patriotic Movement in Beirut when I was there last year. And by the way, we're opening our new Beirut channel on CDM soon. That's why I was just there. But anyway, here is Naji Hayek talking about connecting the Christian communities globally and why Lebanon is so important.
For hosting me. God bless you.
Yes, I'm at the convent and you're downtown Beirut. But could you, I've done a lot of reporting on the history of the Christian movement and what's happened here, but maybe you could give an overview of where the movement stands, the risks and the possibilities going forward.
I am going to give you a little briefing about the history of the Christians in Lebanon and a bit in the Middle East. As you probably know, and that this is something also that many people don't know, we are not converted to Christianism. We are the first Christians because Jesus was here. So Jesus was here next to us in Israel, and the first miracle was done in the south of Lebanon. So the Christian community of Lebanon is one of the first Christian communities ever because of the proximity. The Christian community in Syria also is an old, very old Christian community, and it goes back to the year 30 or 40. The first place where the Christians were named Christians or followers of Jesus was in actual Turkey, and in the south of Turkey, in Antioch. This area was part of Syria, so the whole area was Christians up until the advent of Islam, and when the Islamic Caliphate started conquering this area, the people started converting from Christianity to Islam. Christianity was able to convert many of the pagans in the whole area to Christianity, and many of them stayed pagan, very few actually. But then Islam came and they started converting by the means that they used. And this is what it is. So the actual country of Lebanon had been mostly Christian in the, like 100 years ago, with the foundation of the Greater Lebanon, the Greater Lebanon and the smaller Lebanon that was there before the Greater Lebanon was mostly 80% Christians. But for the past 100 years, we were subject to many military activities and other also activities that diminished, made our numbers less. So wars plus the amount of the numbers of Christians started going down because the Christian family is usually smaller than a non-Christian family, especially in the 40 or 50 years. So I have 2 kids. Islamic families have 7 or 8 kids or 4 or 5 kids. So numbers are at least double. So look at this over many generations. That makes the number go down. And this is the rule of life. I mean, this is not an accusation. This is the reality of what's happening. And also, mainly in 1975, we had a big war that was launched against the Christian presence in Lebanon because the Christians were holding most of the powers. And according to the Lebanese constitution, if you want to call it this way, the Lebanese president has to be Christian. And has to be Maronite. Actually, it's a Catholic sect of Christianity. So there was a war that was launched by the Palestinians to take over Lebanon. The Christians defended themselves, and the army that was largely Christian, and the Christian parties had to arm. So we formed Christian militias that fought the Palestinians and fought then after that the Syrians. And there was also a big agglomeration of ISIS, kind of an ISIS of the 70s that were revolving around the Palestinian Fatah movement and led by Arafat. So they came here to battle the infidel. We were able to hold our grounds quite steadily. Many of them left, many of us left, obviously, because the Christians, many of us have families in the US, have families in Europe, so it's easy for them to go, and they blend much easier. So they left and never came back. Many of us died in battle, and I lost many of my childhood friends in battle, and the rest of us is here right now. So the problem that we are facing, and I have to say it this way, is that the Western governments and even the Western communities have lost much of their Christian values. And because of that, the Christians of the Middle East have been left to their fate, and they have been left to kind of die slowly and alone here. You have to remember that in 1990, in the middle of the war that we were having against the Syrian occupation of Lebanon, the American government sponsored the invasion of the Christian area by Hafiz Assad, the father of actual Bashar al-Assad, and they let him rule Lebanon, and they let him crush all the Christian presence in Lebanon by military force, and unfortunately, with the blessing of the United States and Europe. So
that was done during the first Gulf War. Am I correct? It was kind of like a quid pro quo. You join us in the war, we'll let you destroy Christianity in Lebanon. Is that
absolutely? And this is what happened. Hafiz Assad joined the war against Iraq, against Saddam Hussein. Who needed Hafiz Assad to win the war against Saddam Hussein? The U.S. did it alone without getting any help from anybody. But they wanted his assistance, despite what he had done, despite him blowing up the Marines headquarters in Lebanon. So they let him crush us. And between 1990 and 2005, our powers in Lebanon started fading away because Syria was occupying Lebanon and was stripping the Christians out of their powers. And with the whole world observing this is when I had to leave and go to the US to finish my medical and surgical training. I remember when I had to come back to Lebanon, we were not allowed to write Beirut on the plane ticket. It had to say Damascus. Imagine this. I used to scratch it, write Beirut on it, and at that time it was a paper. The tickets were paper tickets. So I used to get into arguments with the agents on the airports at JFK or at Newark because they were angry because I was tampering the ticket. I said I'm flying to Beirut, and the ticket, the flight number is going to Beirut. Why are you writing Damascus? Especially that I was one of these soldiers, army soldiers, and militiamen that battled the Syrians and the Palestinians occupying Lebanon. So this is what happened, and it was not without a hard fight and battle inside the U.S. Congress that we were able to pass a law with the help of the Lebanese Christian community in the U.S. We had a law that was passed called the Syria Accountability and Lebanese Sovereignty Restoration Act that was passed in the U.S. government, in the U.S. Congress, that obliged the Syrians to get out of Lebanon. This law was mainly orchestrated by the former president, General Michel Aoun, and with the assistance of the Lebanese inside the United States. One of them was my uncle, the late Dr. Eli Sadie of Youngstown, Ohio, who was born in the U.S. and who helped us do that. And he's the one that testified in the U.S. Congress for that. And this is how the Syrians withdrew from Lebanon. It went through the Lebanese lobby. And now what's happening right now is what, with the fall of Assad, we have to admit, despite the brutality of the regime, this regime was quite lenient toward the Christians of Syria, and but now the actual regime in Syria is like pushing the Christians to leave the Syria. Now,
so just let me say, Assad was, you say, lenient to the Christians. You could have your own lifestyle. You could go to church. You could build businesses under Assad, correct?
Absolutely, you were not allowed to get involved in politics, but at the same time, there was freedom of religion, and I'm in no way trying to say that Assad was a great person. I was one of the people that battled him and fought him all my childhood and my young adult life. But this is the reality of things. So now the new regime in Syria is dangerous. I hope they'll be able to minimize their effect on the region. But in Lebanon, we still have a good Christian presence. The president and the commander-in-chief of the army and the head of the central bank, which is like the Federal Reserve in the U.S., they're still Christians, but they're stripped of some of their powers. And we're having this problem of the Hezbollah being armed and weaponized. So now, with the war in the south of Lebanon, Hezbollah has been quite severely damaged, and we're trying to get rid of the arms of the Hezbollah. In the old days, before this war, we at our party had to deal with Hezbollah, and because we belong to the same country, and we were, as Christians, quite weak enough not to be able to fight or argue with what they're doing, and with them having weapons and being affiliated with Iran. But this has changed right now. But
so let me ask you, how did the Shia presence come into Lebanon?
The Shia presence came into Lebanon in around the year 700, right after the fall of the Shiite Khalifa in Iraq. So they came, many of them came to Lebanon, and they started living in the south of Lebanon. And they even came to the actual Christian areas of Lebanon. But the Christians were obviously before that, because the Christians in Lebanon have been here since the year 300. And many before that, again, because when the Christianity started growing, it started in Lebanon, in Syria, and in southern Turkey. And this is a reality. So we've been here much longer than that. Our church, the Maronite Church, which is a part of the Catholic Church, is the biggest Christian sect in Lebanon. And this Maronite sect is mainly based in Lebanon. It was started by a monk that lived in Aleppo in northern Syria in the year 400, but then the Patriarchate, which is like the papacy of the Christians, our church formed in Mount Lebanon here in the area between Byblos, Jbeil, actual Jbeil, and Batroun. This is where I am right now. It was formed in the year 680. So right by the time that the Shia and the Sunnis were fighting in Iraq. But they started coming as refugees here in the beginning, and the Shiite community started growing up. So it's the Shia have been here for a very long time. And the Sunnis started also growing in influence after the Abbasides in the year, before the Abbasides, the Umayyads in the year 700 and 800 and 800, 900, 1000, they started coming, the Abbasides came and they started attacking the shores of Lebanon and the mountains of Lebanon. In the year 700, the Maronites were fighting against the Umayyads that were led by Muawiyah. There was the Umayyad Khalifa who formed the Umayyad like dynasty, or what do you call it, Caliphate. So, and then sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. We had some good periods here in the year 1100, 1200, 1300 because the Crusaders were here. But after they left, we got slaughtered. Same thing happened to us in 1983, 84.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
The Marines came to Lebanon. They left 1 year or 2 years later after the bombing of the Marines headquarters. So the people that orchestrated this bombing were the Palestinians, the Syrians, and the Iranians. So when the U.S. government decided to pull out the Marines, and we were left alone. So we were attacked by all fronts because they accuse us of being allied with the Americans or being pro-American. And this is a reality because most of the Lebanese people here are very pro-Americans, and we have 1.5 million Lebanese Americans in the U.S. At least 3/4 of them are Christians, and I have a big part of my family and of my village. Actually, my village is maybe 2,000 people with like maybe 300 homes, and we have the same number in Youngstown, Ohio. Imagine. So these people that are in Youngstown, Ohio, were born and raised in the U.S. They'll be Lebanese just like you'd be Scottish. So
yeah.
So this is what it is. This is why we are pro-American. Obviously, this is the reality. I myself am very pro-American. I was trained and lived in the U.S. and I owe America my medical training. I owe America my education, and America is my second country. And there
so
is that comes before America in the whole world.
So the bombing of the Marine barracks was targeted to try to remove American troops, really removing protection for you. Is that correct?
Exactly. And they succeeded because the Americans, instead of fighting back, decided to withdraw. And this was a big mistake. And imagine in 1990, after that, they sold us to these same people that bombed the Marines and they killed these Marines. And in 1998, we dedicated one of our cedar forests that was dedicated to the memory of the Christian soldiers fell during the war. We dedicated this forest to the memory of the Marines and to the French paratroopers that were killed by a coward act on October 23rd, 1983. And for that, one of the parents of the Marines that they were killed here, that came, her name is Judith Young, with her husband. She came here in 1998, and she is the one that laid the stone for the memory of the Marines. And I think I was there. I think you remember this. You went to this cedar forest, and
yes, I do. That article is on our military site. I mean, it's just so people can bring that up and see that.
Absolutely.
On our
and
forces
after that,
site.
in 2003, the lady Judith Young, she had organized a big candle lighting in Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, and I officially went to Camp Lejeune, sent by then exiled general who became president after that, Michel Aoun. He went to, I went officially, I represented him in Camp Lejeune at the barracks, and I spent the night praying with the families of the fallen heroes. For the 40th anniversary, Judith Young had become the president of the Gold Star Mothers of America. The Gold Star Mothers, for the people that are not familiar with it, are the mothers of the fallen military of the U.S. Of the United States of America. So for maybe 10 years, she was the president of this association that is quite a prestigious organization. She came in October of 2023, and she came, and I organized her trip. She came with one of the Marines that they were here also with her. She came, and we organized a trip to the mountain where I sent you the photos, to the mountain, yes. And she saw the stone and the flowers that she had given us in 1998. So we were supposed to have a big rally for that and a big thing, but because of the events that happened in Gaza, right? I mean, a couple of weeks before the 23rd of October, we're not able to do that. But the people that are hearing me here and the U.S. People should know that since I came back and started organizing this since 1999, I was personally, and my political party were organizing prayers and masses every year for the fallen Marines, every year. And I sent you old photos.
Yes, I saw those. Yeah.
Even during the Syrian occupation, we used to do that. Every year there is a mass for the memory of the fallen Marines in Lebanon. We did all this. So we deserve that the U.S. government has a good eye on us and trying to help us and trying to make sure that we don't get flushed out of our homeland and out of the first Christian homeland in the whole world, and the only country in the Middle East where the Christians still have powers, and the only country in the Middle East where the president is Christian. So this is extremely important. And in this year in February, I was at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, and President Trump addressed me personally in the crowd when he was talking about helping the Christians and having an office in the White House to combat the anti-Christian movements. And he told me, "You seem very happy," and I told him I'm very happy, and I count on him to restore peace to the Middle East and to help the Christians of Lebanon. And
so
he told me that he was going to do that, and I count on him for that.
What you have?
I sent you the video.
Yeah, I would love to see it. So, well, I did see it, but I'd love to have it and play it on after this show. There's more threats from Syria now. Possibly, you have 2 million Syrian refugees in country, and you have possible threats from the Sunni jihadi government in Syria. Has there been a response from the Trump administration, like, we understand what's going on, or because you have Trump and then you have the State Department? They're two different things. So, absolutely. You know, sometimes the lower level employees don't really think like President Trump. Are you seeing any results from the Trump administration?
We haven't seen much of that, but we're giving it time because they're still going back and forth concerning the weapons of the Hezbollah. And I think this is crucial, being able to put guns and weapons solely in the hand of the official, of the Lebanese army is very important. And I think President Trump is assisting on this matter. Now, when it comes to the danger coming from the north and from the east with the jihadi government in Syria, we hear some threats, but I'm not sure they are quite credible at this point. But nobody knows because Shara, the actual president of Syria, does not really control all the territory, and we've seen what they did to the Alawis in western Syria, and we've seen what they tried to do to the Druze in Suwaida in Syria. So who knows? They might think of attacking either Shia or the Christian community here. So this is where a U.S. intervention comes handy. But we're trying. We talk to the people in the U.S. I personally go talk to the State Department, and as you said, the problem that we've been facing for all these years is there are sometimes you have a 30-year-old government employee that decides that the Christians in Lebanon are a negligible entity and should not be dealt with as an important faction of Lebanon, and this is what you get. And we get people get killed, get slaughtered, and our presence starts getting diminished. So, I wish we could do something more. And I mean, I thank you very much for giving me the chance of exposing these facts and of telling the U.S., the American people, that we are their allies and we are their friends and we share common values. Not only Christian values, but even the non-Christian population in Lebanon is quite friendly to the American people and to the values of that the Americans that America represents.
Right. I was going to ask you something, but I forgot. What else do you want to get out to the
problem? The problem that we face is that the political games sometimes can get our people killed in Lebanon, and I beg the American people, and I hereby push and ask the priests and in churches to do everything they can to push their representatives and the government to give special assistance to the Christians of Lebanon and to Lebanon, because Lebanon is a democracy in the Middle East, and it was always the Switzerland, the Middle East, the Miami of the Middle East. Even now, if you come, I mean, you're here in Lebanon. Go to the beaches, check the nightlife.
It's very nice.
We live a very open life. Lebanon is not a Kandahar. Christians and Muslims in Lebanon live the same way that the people would live in Washington or in Miami or anywhere else. So
I know what I was going to ask you.
We can be a major representative of the free world in this Middle East. This is one, and because we as Christians, because we know the West, we know the East, we can be the mediators between the Western values and the Middle Eastern values, and between the Christian values and between the Islamic values, that can find a good territory where they can really live peacefully and with love, like Lord Jesus Christ taught us.
Amen. So I know what I was going to ask you. There was a lot of Christians killed in southern Syria, correct? After Golani took power?
Yes, there were many Christians killed, but we don't have much info because the government there tries to limit what leaks out. But obviously with internet, a lot leaks out. But people that have been killed in Syria are mostly Alawis and Druze, and less Christians. But Christians, Syria had 2 or 3 million Christians, and many of them left because the people like in Australia and the Australian government, the Canadian government, they like to get Syrian Christians. So they give them the opportunity to travel, and they travel. Many of them are in Lebanon. We welcome them here. We welcome them here because they feel they're safer in Lebanon.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the Christians in Lebanon still have powers, and big part of the army is Christian. And the command, I mean, the chief of staff of the army is Christian. And not only Christians, but even Shia and Sunnis here, they live in a more peaceful way than everywhere else in the world. I mean, the communities here are not the way many of the people think they are. I'm talking about the Shia and the Sunnis.
Yes, I understand. Well, thank you for your time. I would love to have you back down the road as things develop and we have more things happening in Lebanon.
Thank you very much.
I think there's going to be more developments, but I appreciate your time coming on today, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Okay, hope you enjoyed this SCIF today. Please sign up for our socials, CDM1 on Rumble, CDM on YouTube. I tell this all the time. If you haven't subscribed to us there, please go to YouTube right now and hit the button, subscribe to CDM. Put CDM Press, and our network will come up. If you just put CDM, it won't. I mean, they're trying to block us all the way with anywhere they can. But please just go there and subscribe. Also on Rumble, even if you watch us on X, find CDM1 on Rumble, subscribe to us there, and then go to X, CDM_press, and subscribe to us there. And we got a lot of content coming out. I mean, we're growing like crazy. We really appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the comments. I want to just say thank you to several people who, you know who you are, for all the comments and all the engagement. That really helps. And just like our stories, click on the links, go to cdm.press a few times a day, click on the links. That is very helpful. All right, we just wanted to explain to you what's going on. We're going to have a big Come to Jesus in Georgia Sunday at 2 p.m. and then an AWeb special broadcast to announce the election fraud network we have discovered at 3 p.m. It'll be on X, on Gettr, on Rumble. We'll load it to YouTube afterwards. And thank you for the comments. I just got a very informative thank you. We really appreciate that. Tell your people about the show. We are the one true credible network out there. We really are. I mean, the more we learn, the more we learn. So we're going to continue to tell you what's happening in the background. All right, we'll be right back. No, we're not going to be right back. We'll be back Sunday at 2 on the Georgia show, and then 3 for our special broadcast. And the SCIF will be back Monday at 10. So thank you very much. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.